Potato recovering got to access ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini from restricted countries. AI tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, and Google's Gemini have transformed how people work, research, and create. These services are not available everywhere. Geographic restrictions prevent millions of users from accessing these tools, either entirely or with limited functionality. This guide explains which countries face restrictions, why these blocks exist, and how to use mobile proxies to gain reliable access. OpenAI restricts access from a significant number of countries. As of the latest available information, ChatGPT and the OpenAI API are not available in China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, Syria, several African countries including Eritrea, Sudan, and South Sudan, and some Central Asian countries. Users in these countries see an error message when trying to access the OpenAI site or API endpoints. OpenAI blocks access based on IP address geolocation, and for the API based on the country associated with the payment method. Anthropic's Claude is available in a growing number of countries but remains restricted in several regions. Availability varies between the consumer product at claude.ai and the API. Countries under international sanctions are typically blocked. Billcome's Gemini, formerly Bard, has broader availability than OpenAI or Anthropic but still has restrictions. It's not available in EU countries for the Gemini app, with some exceptions as Google gradually rolls out access. It's restricted in countries under international sanctions. Some features are limited by region, and the API has its own separate availability map. Many other AI services have geographic restrictions as well. Midjourney is accessible globally, but payments are restricted in some countries. Perplexity AI is generally available, but may block sanctioned countries. Runway ML is restricted in some regions. Hugging Face Pro has payment restrictions in certain countries. Understanding the reasons behind geo-restrictions helps you evaluate your options. US-based companies must comply with OFAC sanctions, which prohibit providing services to certain countries. GDPR and similar laws in various countries create compliance burdens that companies may not be ready to handle. Many AI companies launch in a limited set of countries first and expand over time. Different countries have different content laws, and AI companies may not have the moderation infrastructure for all regions. Some countries also have limited payment infrastructure, making it difficult to collect subscription fees. A mobile proxy routes your internet traffic through a mobile device in another country. When you connect through a data research tool's mobile proxy with a Singapore exit IP, the AI service sees a request from Singapore, a supported country, rather than from your actual location. AI services have become sophisticated at detecting and blocking VPN connections. Mobile proxies succeed where VPNs often fail for several reasons. VPN servers use well-known data center IPs that are cataloged in public databases, and AI services check these databases and block connections from known VPN IPs. Mobile proxies use IPs assigned by real mobile carriers, which are shared by thousands of legitimate users. A data center IP running hundreds of concurrent sessions looks suspicious, while a mobile carrier IP with normal traffic patterns looks like a regular user. VPN protocols like OpenVPN and WireGuard have distinctive traffic signatures that deep packet inspection can detect, but mobile proxies use standard HTTP or HTTPS connections. Mobile carrier IPs also have consistent, accurate geolocation data because they are assigned by local carriers, while VPN IPs sometimes have mismatched geolocation that triggers fraud detection systems. Also, with install a proxy extension like Foxy Proxy for Firefox or Proxy Switcher Omega for Chrome, configure it with your data research tool's credentials, activate the profile, and navigate to the OpenAI site. For system-wide setup on macOS, open System Settings, go to Network, select your active connection, open the Proxies tab, enable Web Proxy and Secure Web Proxy, and enter your proxy server address, port, and credentials. On Windows, open Settings, go to Network and Internet, then Proxy, and enable Manual Proxy Setup with your server address and port. For developers accessing the OpenAI API from restricted regions, you configure your HTTP client to route requests through the proxy. The approach works the same way in Python, Node, JS, and Curl. You point your HTTP client at the proxy endpoint with your credentials, and all API traffic flows through that proxy to reach OpenAI servers. The process for accessing Claude at claude.ai is the same as for ChatGPT. Troubleboot, use a browser proxy extension or system-wide proxy with a data research tools endpoint in a supported country. For the Claude API, you configure your HTTP client the same way, routing requests through the proxy endpoint. Google's Gemini can be accessed at gemini.google. Found out using the same browser proxy setup described above with the data research tools proxy in a supported country. The Gemini API is configured the same way as the other platforms. Not all countries have access to all AI services. Data Research Tools provides mobile proxy endpoints in Singapore and other Southeast Asian countries, which generally have good access to all major AI platforms. Singapore is an excellent choice because it is rarely on any restriction list, has fast internet infrastructure, and is in a time zone convenient for Asian users. When using ChatGPT or Claude web interfaces, you need to maintain the same IP throughout your session. Changing IPs mid-session can trigger security alerts. Configure sticky sessions in your data research tools dashboard and set the session length to at least 30 minutes for web browsing. For API calls, sticky sessions are less important since each request is independent. When creating accounts on AI platforms through a proxy, use a consistent proxy location for registration and ongoing use. Use a phone number from the same country as your proxy exit IP for verification. Use a payment method compatible with the exit country, and avoid switching between vastly different geographic locations frequently. Tetap di folder vertikally ditaungi and VOBUJ INs, tetap di ba encame, and to shade realistic user agent strings in your browser. Enable cookies and JavaScript since AI services use these for security, and avoid sharing your proxy endpoint with too many users simultaneously. It's important to understand the legal context. Most AI services prohibit circumventing geographic restrictions in their terms of service, so using a proxy may violate these terms. If you're in a country under international sanctions, accessing US-based services may have legal implications regardless of the method used. The risk profile also differs between personal research use and commercial deployments. Some countries restrict the use of proxies and VPNs, so check your local regulations. This content is provided for informational purposes, and users should evaluate their own legal situation before using proxies to access geo-restricted services. If you see an access denied or service unavailable error, verify your proxy is working by checking your exit IP. Try a different proxy endpoint or country, and clear your browser cookies and cache since all sessions may be cached with your real location. If your account gets locked or suspended, it may be because the AI service detected location inconsistencies. For user proxy from one consistent location, and contact the service's support team since they may unlock the account. For slow performance, keep in mind that total latency is proxy latency plus generation time. Choose a proxy endpoint geographically close to the AI services servers, and data research tools Singapore endpoints provide good latency to both US and Asian servers. Accessing geo-restricted AI services is possible with the right proxy setup. Mobile proxies from data research tools are the most reliable option because they use legitimate mobile carrier IPs that AI services do not block. Whether you need web access for casual use or API access for development, the proxy configuration is straightforward across all major platforms. Choose a stable exit country like Singapore, use sticky sessions for web browsing, and follow best practices to maintain reliable long-term access. Tondo, that's everything for today. Check out our other guides at dataresearchtools.com for more in-depth content on related topics. Until next time, take care and happy browsing.